Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity and practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Constant Brooks, and this episode we're going to talk about something important that realize as well was perspective of experiences because you know 2023 coming down to a close and 2024 coming, you know, 2020, if you have actually gone through 2020, we realize we have actually gone through a pandemic, very serious, a very big pandemic. And I said I've gone through various in my epidemics throughout my time going through school, but this one being a pandemic was really big because what happened was that I was actually out of school and basically looking to try to start my life. And then this big thing, this big life threatening thing just came out of nowhere and affected the whole world, including my country. And it's like, bruh, it was really traumatizing. But what happened was it was traumatizing for me for various reasons. But to my grandmother, you know, she is like she was not traumatized by that. She was only be like, oh, you know, she just be like, okay, I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming and stuff. And then if you really listen to the podcast and stuff, you realize that I listened to something that said, okay, something like that was coming. So I knew through research, but she knew through years of experience through her faith or such like that. But what happened was that due to her life experiences, like put into perspective, in 2020 she would be 88 and I would be 24. I would be 24. My knowledge, limited knowledge that I just gained from university as compared to her 80 home 88 years of experiences, it made me realize how dwarf how dwarf my perspective would be at looking back at it in hindsight. In hindsight, I realized how her life experiences would have made her not overreact in a situation like this. She overreacted in the sense that, okay, she was trying to protect me because I was young and have my future ahead of me, and be like, okay, you can't go there and waste your life like this so early. But I, I, in a sense, was actually um thinking about the pandemic in a overconfident way in the sense that okay, I have this knowledge and I actually know how to do to how to protect myself and precaution and doing a precaution. But what happened was that I knew how to do it, but real life certain some unfortunate event happened like anemia, something out of nowhere like that happened that basically just took me out of my normal mojo and just basically have me questioning myself. But it was thanks to to my grandmother who have gone through a lot of life experiences that basically bring me back to a more normal state and be like, okay, this is just a phase. And then, during that experiences, what happened was that she just teach me all the things that I need to know. And 2020, 20 leaving, that was 24. I was 24. Now I'm basically on the verge to become 27. 27. And, you know, babe, that kind of just made me realize that, bro, my grandmother was really had a lot of experience. I'm hearing her stories now, and then not realizing that, bro, it's I'm realizing the stories now that she usually tells me. I'm like, oh my god, it's a lot of experiences and stuff. So it's just one of those things that just put my perspective. It'll be like you will see a lot of basic stuff. Like you will see a house, you see this basic house and stuff, and don't know the story behind all these things that basically got the story that goes into the making of the house. You'll be like, okay, I just got rich, I made a lot of millions. Let me just purchase this house because this house looks very nice, but don't know the history of all the things that goes into this house. And when you learn the history of it, that's the fascinating things that basically made this house worth the while. Just like the perspective of elder being respecting your elders, respecting people that are older than you. That that pandemic really emphasized that where they may not have the education that you have, but the fact that they were alive for so long, that is valuable in itself. You can be as educated as you want, but basically one sickness can basically just mean that they'll send you into the grave. One base you can be the smartest person in the world, and basically one sickness just send you in the grave, or a lot, one malicious act by another person that basically send you into the grave. One bad act, um, anything can basically send you to the grave. You can be the smartest person. So having me understanding that now, I really valued her lessons, and I valued her lessons a lot when going through the pandemic and surviving and stuff like that. But now she's gone, and one of the things she also said was that there's a reason why she always say something like she would have died a long time ago, but someone told her she has a reason that she was here. You know, one of the things, just having her go through all learning her story and having a lot of understanding now to be like, let me just give you more, just give you a lot more perspective on the experiences. Going through the pandemic and what happened was I usually be around a lot. I was during the pandemic. I was at an era where she grew up, where so where I grew up would be where she retired, but she did not start there. She grew up somewhere else. So during the pandemic, I was around that area. So at the start of the pandemic, due to her lessons and things that she learned, she was able to bring me back to my right self, make me not feel as so scared about the pandemic. But then I actually say, okay, I'm gonna make some move to actually progress my life because it's either do or die. And those lessons that she taught me just came in handy. And basically, I have the ability to talk to her during those times, and she was giving me lessons eventually until her health started degrading as well, due to the fact that she was getting older. But when she passed now, one of the things that I realized was, so recently I actually went to that place again, to that area again. And what I realized was that I basically left that area for like 2 years, 2 years or such. And I went there again and I realized so many new places that are being built up now. When that new places there that weren't there when I was actually there. So they weren't built or they were in the process of starting, or maybe due to the pandemic or such, they were slowed down. So there was a lot of building there. But not only that, what I realized was that getting a perspective. There were so many places during the time that when my grandmother was growing up and and becoming her adult, and so, there were so many places that did not exist. That is just basically big tourist, big venue sites there, and they did not exist during my grandmother's time. Like, to put in perspective, my high school was not founded back in my grandma's. So it's like, that's the thing where you'll be like, ex you value the knowledge from your elders or from people that are older than you, because what will happen is that if you're a young person, you'll be born into a very new time. You'll be born, and then you'll be see certain things, and you'll be see certain things, and you'll be like, okay, they have been, you see them and you'll be like, okay, this is just a norm, but not realizing that, bro, a few years back, none of these things existed. None of these things existed. And then what will happen is that there will come a time, a hard time will come, a struggle will come, a obstacle will come, and what will happen is that you would actually need to learn your history or your past, learn where you're coming from, to learn how to navigate the new phase. And that's what I had to actually learn in that pandemic. Learn about where I'm coming from, where I'm coming from, just to know how to move forward. And you know, going going through that process now and going through that phase made me really appreciate. And every day I'm just learning something new, and I'm really embracing the journey. Embracing the journey now. A few months back when she just passed, it was really sad, and I really, but the fact that I took that those valuable time that I spent with her in her last years, and all the things that she was teaching me made me realize that, okay, I'm just embracing the things now. I'm embracing them now, because there's a lot of things that what I realize is that I'm just beginning. That's the thing that every day I just realize that, bro, I am just beginning. Every time I feel like, okay, I'm on one up or something like on her, I just realize that, bro, I'm just beginning. That's the thing that you. So what this episode is just basically explain to you, be like, respect your elder, respect the people that are older than you, even if they're in a bad position that you do not want to be in. You can learn about their life, to learn about what not to do to actually be that in that position. Or if you see somebody that you want to be, you can learn about what they did to get there, so you can actually have a chance to reach those things. That's how I think. Like, respect your elders, they are valuable. They are valuable. That's the thing that I learned from this experience. I am still learning every single day, every single day. And the thing about it, as I'm getting older, you have this podcast to learn about the thing that I've been learning when I was younger. When I was younger, so that's the thing. Each podcast episode is a past me. By the time I release the episode, have been released, have been a lot of changes, a lot of things that I'm new things that I've learned, and then you are just basically reaping the rewards from that, from the episodes. So, as I said, there's a lot of things that this pandemic has really enlightened to me, and I'm grateful for it. And so that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and thank you, and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.